Hello, and welcome to Evolve, the place where we build one another up, share your opinions, your thoughts, ideas, beliefs, and your feelings, where you will never be outcast for being who you are. It is so wonderful to be in a new year. Thanking my Heavenly Father for allowing me to see another year. What a blessing it is for us all. Thank you for tuning in. And this was the very first episode of the new year. So grateful to have you listening in and join me as I share with you no longer defeated in our ships. Okay. And like I said, we are tonight's episode is no longer defeated in our ships. So, it's a new year, and I wanted to bring an important message to all of you. I know that when we're celebrating and excited to be in a new year, but even with that, we still must stay on guard on keeping our ships intact, knowing that we do not, put our guards down when dealing with relationships, dealing with our children and loved ones, because in this new year, the enemy is still on the prowl to do just as he did last year and the year before that, which is to steal, kill, and destroy whomever he can devour. He doesn't care if it's a new day, a new year, he is prowling. So, in this episode, I wanted to share with you some encouraging words. In the past, I never realized how much of an attack it was in my ships. If you're not careful, an attack on your relationships, your marriage, your job, your friendships, all can be in this attack. I was so busy and never realized just how under attack I was and how so many around me were experiencing that same attack. I realized when you're in the seat of prospering to the next phase, or the next step to your destination. You won't always be celebrated, even on what you're doing or where you're going. You won't always be celebrated, only to realize you will have to work harder within your ships, because if you're not careful and not realizing that your ships are changing unknowingly, they will eventually sink. You have to be on alert and aware at all times. I say that to say, just when you think things are all right and going okay, there is this thing on the prowl. He is watching. He has his eyes on your ships. He is watching your situationships. He's watching your circumstances ships. He is watching. He seems to know when the shift will happen in your ships. He knows when you're not paying attention. He knows when you're slipping. He is called the enemy. He comes in these ships to do what he has set out to do, and that is, he is the thief that comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And you can find that in John chapter 10, verse 10. If not careful, you won't see that it's what he's prepared or is preparing to do. So you have to work harder on keeping your ship sailing and not sinking. Just when you start slipping or think you got it all together, remember, he's watching. Stay focused and keep your ships together. There may be times you may want to give up and throw in the towel, but stay focused on your ships. Keep your ships on guard and aware of his prowling. He doesn't want to see good rowing ships or successful sailing ships together. So you have to work super hard in keeping your ships, family relationships, your sibling relationships, your friendships, your in-law relationships, even your marriage ship together. Conflicts can get out of hand without even realizing. One argument can get out of hand, but communication, communicating things out, it doesn't have to get out of hand. Stirring up the old, where does it get you? Keep your ships together and communicate in a positive way. things you've already gone through and been forgiven for. The thief, remember, the thief comes to destroy. The enemy goal is to destroy what is good and is now good. You have to notice when he is using your life against you. He is watching. Stay focused on your ships. It's going to be difficult at times, but keep at it. It's times we may want to throw in the towel on that difficult child or our children, but keep at it. Love them through those times. Make peace with your babies, not be at war with them. Place them in God's hand and always pray for them. He answers prayers just when you think he's not listening. That's when he steps in and work things out. He won't give us the job as parents to only have us in war with our babies. Love them through difficult moments and know that staying focused on his gracious benefits to you. We can even look at someone else's situation, their ships of circumstances and their situations that may be better than ours. That is another way we can, become unfocused, even jealous, simply by not being thankful for what we have in front of us. But did you know that being in His grace, we don't have to give in to it? Instead, focus on His gracious benefits to you and be thankful for what you have been given, including that of our children. Pray over them and place them back in His hands. He answers prayers just as the enemy can come in and manipulate them and throw them off track away from, the things that they are set out to be focused on. Our prayers are answered. He knows, He saves, He wants us to love Him even through the good and the difficult times. So be prepared to face difficult times and moments. If I say it will be a pleasant and easy thing in this, new year, I'd be dishonest because, it is a new year. And just because it's a new year doesn't mean the enemy will stop. He's on the prowl, ready to devour. Just guard your ships and stay always focused on keeping your ship strong in Him and together. Remember, the Lord will grant the enemies who rise up against you will be defeated before you. They will come at you from one direction, but flee from you in seven. And I love that verse. And that's coming from Deuteronomy 28, verse 7. I love that. I'm going to read it again. The Lord will grant the enemies who rise up against you will be defeated before you. They will come at you from one direction, but flee from you in seven. How, good is knowing that? Again, that's Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 7. Just knowing that assurance tells me in those moments when faced against the enemy, I'm not alone and He is aware of him. I just need to remain in obedience to Him. Let me just add, this podcast isn't trying to force anything on anyone. But if you heard in my previous episodes, I explained I'd be sharing about my faith in some of the episodes. It being a new year, I wanted to share my faith in a brand new episode. This was the brand new one. I'm not trying to force anyone, but if you enjoy this podcast, I'm just bringing awareness of what is to come in the future, in future episodes in which I will be sharing my faith a lot more than not. It's no other place I want to be in than that of His grace and mercy, His everlasting word. So, no matter what the enemy tries to throw at me or distract me with, I can't omit who I know is real. Nothing can take me away from that of my God. Nothing or no one. I can't help that He is real and worth it. That I want to share Him and His words with all of you. And I can't help it. I don't like when I have to watch what I say. Don't say too much of this or that about my faith. But let me tell you, when He was on the cross for my sins, I must speak about my faith. Even if I'm thrown into the pit or outcast for doing it, I must share it with you. You don't have to listen or accept it, but I must share it in hopes that it reaches those who are willing to accept Him and His word and accept Him as their Lord and Savior. It doesn't matter what you've done or where you are in your life. Remember that He will accept you because He is so worth it and you are worth it. If you just believe in Him, and read His word daily, allow it to grow in your heart, He will show you how real He is and how worth it He is. It won't be an easy road. It will be hard and even difficult sometimes. It won't always be perfect, and you will be around difficult people, even those who constantly swear at you or use it in their communication. He knows your heart and what it is you're set out to do. As we fight our battles, it will become easier to deal with those people and those people in our ships of situations and circumstances. We won't see it right at the moment in our difficulties. We'll be too focused on the pain and not the purpose of it all, but he knows vengeance is his, not mine. Those difficult people and those situations and circumstances within our ships, he will put them on hold, put them to shame. Just trust him to do it in his will and not on your own. You'll be surprised at what he can do. You have to be able to say no. I'm not picking the wide and broad easy road that many enter. That leads to destruction, but I want the small and narrow gate, the one road that leads to life that very few find. And you can find that in Matthew chapter 7, verses 13 and 14. You have to decide. So, with saying that, I want to say I hope that you have a wonderful year, remaining of the year, filled with lots of love and joy this year. Keep focused on your ships, keep them safe and sailing. So, this is Tia Londa. Did you enjoy this episode? Well, why not send an email and tell me about it? Do you have a topic suggestion or would you like to be a guest on an Evolve episode? Well, why not email me your suggestions or requests to be a guest at evolvetopics@gmail.com. I promise that it is someone who can benefit from hearing your story and become inspired by it. So send your request and also stay tuned as we share the very first book study and review, Stay Salt by Rebecca Manley Pippert, right here. So don't miss an episode as we journey through Stay Salt. Well, thanks so much for joining me on this episode. It means so much. It's a new year, and see you again on the next episode of Evolve.